Hello everyone, welcome back to ESL Till. In today's video, let's look at how to use its time. Okay, using its time. When can we use its time? We can use its time to express a wish, or you can also use this its time to make a suggestion or to give a piece of advice. Okay, using its time, you can express a wish, you can make a suggestion, you can give a piece of advice. Okay, let's see how. First, let's look at the structure. The structure is like this: its time plus subject plus past subjunctive. That's nothing but past tense verb. Anyway, let's look at what past subjunctive is. So in simple terms, this is the structure: its time plus subject plus were or verb to. So we use were when we talk about a state, and when there is an action we use the second form of the verb, action verb. That's it. Its time, subject, past tense verb. Okay, let's understand what past subjunctive is. A past subjunctive is a term that is used in traditional grammar in which were or verb to is used in a clause to express a wish or a desire or to make a suggestion in the present or future. Even though that is in past tense, the verb is in the past tense, or it talks about present or future. Okay, now let's get into the details. Now we use its high time plus past subjunctive, that is nothing but past form of the verb, to express that something should be done and it is already a bit late now. Let's have a few examples to understand this better. Look at this sentence here. It's time we started for the station. Look at the structure. It's time we, subject, and started for the station. Started, that is past subjunctive, past tense of start. What is the meaning here when we say it's time we started for the station? The meaning is we should have started for the station by now, a bit earlier, but we haven't yet done. It's already late. That is the meaning. See here, even though the structure is in the past tense, we are still talking about present or future. Okay, let's look at another example sentence here. It's time John spoke to the manager to settle the problem. It's time John spoke to the manager to settle the problem. What does that mean? It means John should have spoken to the manager by now, but he hasn't done it. It is already a bit late. And if at all John has to speak to the manager, it should be done in the present or in the future. So even though the structure has a past tense verb, it still conveys present or future meaning. Let's look at the next one. It's time Smith quit the job. Quit, quit, quit. Three forms are the same. This is the second form. It's time Smith quit the job. What does that mean? It means Smith should have quit the job by now. He hasn't done it yet. It is already a bit late. So we can make a suggestion like this: it's time Smith quit the job. Okay. Now let's look at 10th class textual exercise based on its time, using its time. Let's look at the first one here. Bhavani usually wakes up at 6 a.m. daily. It is 6:15 a.m. now. Bhavani has not woken up yet. You feel it is already late. Express your idea using its high time. Okay, so what is the structure that you need to use here? It's high time, because that is what you are asked to use. It's high time, and then you have to use the subject. Who are we talking about here? Bhavani. And we have to use the past subjunctive, that is were or verb to. If there is an action, you have to use the second form of that action verb. Okay, now it's high time, so we have to use that. And then we have to use the subject. Who are we talking about here? Here we are talking about Bhavani. So we can use Bhavani. It's high time, Bhavani. And what is the verb that we are supposed to use? We have to use wake up, but what is the past tense of wake up? Woke up. So it's high time Bhavani woke up. Simple. So the meaning is that Bhavani should have woken up by now, but she hasn't done it yet. So we think it is a bit late. Okay, now let's look at another one. You and your friend have spent more time than you spend daily in the playground. You feel it is late and better to go home. What would you say to your friend? Use the expression, it's time. Okay, the structure is, it's time, subject plus were or verb to. Okay, it's time, we use it's time, and then what is the subject here? The subject is, no, we. Because you and your friend, you have to say about you and your friend together. So, we. It's time, we. So, what should be done now? What is the action? Go home. So, go is the verb, and we have to use the second form of the verb go, that is went. It's time we went home. It's time we went home. That is the answer. Okay. It means we haven't yet started for home. We have to start now in the present or in the future after a few minutes. But the structure is in the past tense. To suggest that there is a delay in something, we use this it's time plus past subjunctive structure. Okay, now let's look at the third one. You to your friend. You have not thought seriously about what you want to do in your life. How would you express this idea using it's high time? Look at the structure. It's high time plus subject plus past tense verb. Okay, how do we write this? It's high time. Now, what is the subject here? You cannot say we here because you are talking to your friend. So you have to say it's high time you. So what should your friend do now? He should think seriously. Think seriously about his life. So think, the past tense of think is thought. It's high time you thought seriously about your life. You can also say it's high time you thought seriously about what you want to do in your life. Okay, let's move to the fourth one. Your friend promised you to make a phone call at 7 a.m. but you haven't received any phone call from him yet. Now it is 7:30 a.m. How would you express this idea using it's time? The structure, it's time, subject, past tense verb. Let's do it now. It's time. And now your friend is not here with you, so you cannot say you because you are not talking to him directly. So you have to say my friend as a subject. It's time, my friend. Now what should your friend do? Make a phone call to you. So what is the past tense of make? Made. So it's time my friend made a phone call to me. Now there is another way of saying this. Look at this here. It's time I received a phone call from my friend. So this is okay too. It's time I received a phone call from my friend. So both mean the same here. Okay, let's look at the next one. Your friend has been working on a project for 5 months, but he has not completed it yet. You feel that your friend should take your help to complete the project fast. Give him or her advice using it's time. Okay, the structure, it's time, subject plus past tense verb. Now, let's begin. It's time, and you are advising your friend. You are maybe talking to your friend directly. So you say you. It's time you. Now, what should your friend do? Your friend should take your help. So take is the verb, and the past tense of take is took. It's time you took my help to complete the project fast. It's time you took my help to complete the project fast. That's it. I hope you have understood how to use it's time plus subject plus past subjunctive, that is past tense. Okay, now there is another way of using it's time in a normal way. Let's see that. That's a bonus tip for you. So What is this structure? It's time plus 2 plus infinitive. 2 plus infinitive is nothing but 2 plus verb 1. Like it's time to play, it's time to eat, like that. This is used when it is the right time for something to happen or for somebody to do something, but it is not late. See, remember this. When something is late, you have to use the structure that we discussed earlier. It's time, subject, past subjunctive. But if it is the right time and there is no delay, you can use this structure. Let's look at examples here. It's time to go to school. For example, you usually go to school at 8 o'clock. You start for school at 8 o'clock and it is 8 o'clock now. So there is no delay. It's not late. So you can say it's time to go to school. Now again, it's time for you to sleep. If it is like you go to bed at 9 o'clock every day and it is 9 o'clock now, you can say it's time for me to sleep. Or you can advise someone, it's time for you to sleep. But if it is 9:20 or 9:30 and there is a delay, you can say it's time you slept. It's time I slept. Okay? I hope it is very clear now. And I think you have understood the two uses of it's time. And if there is anything that you would like to ask, please do mention that in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.